Hello there, it's Donna here from Riverside Beads, and today's tutorial is a rose gold snowflake. So these are done on this wire frame, which is a pre-soldered, I guess, wire frame. So if I show you one without any beads on, in the centre there's a tiny little bit there that has been sort of soldered together, but very, very carefully. So it's very nicely done, so it's not bulky around the centre. And that's what these are built up on. Now, we do a kit that has everything you need, and always sell the little wire blanks separately. We've got plenty of stock at the moment. It's one of those things that always goes crazy a bit nearer to Christmas though, so do get yours in early. Now, the beads that we use in this kit have all been pre-prepared out. What I like to do with this is put a small bead right in the centre, a really tiny, this is a little 3mm bicone, you can barely see it there, so it's just a tiny little 3mm bicone. I then use a selection of beads. Now this pattern has been worked out to fit roughly this combination of beads on. Just a little seed bead, they're size 6. Then one of our 6mm pearls. Now I do go in for my seed beads sort of in between, just as a little spacer. Your other option is a nice little spacer bead, just break everything up a little bit. So this has been worked out to use the space on the 4.25-inch frames. They're a stunning product. These are one of my absolute staples. It was one of I got a front cover on a magazine for these. It's one of the first pieces that I had publicised. I absolutely adore it. I just think it creates such a beautiful snowflake. So I am just getting, these are all our sparkle spacers, and this is what makes this magical for me. Sparkle spacers are a little silver, well, they're all silver plated funnily enough underneath, and they're a spacer like a little wheel. I'll bring you the bigger one because it's easy to show. And they've got the little notches on them there. When you build these up in certain ways, you will get a fabulous cluster of these. Now for the purpose of this, it's a little, we call it a sparkle spacer cluster, and that will all cluster together to make one of these, which just looks like this most intricate beaded bead, but it's actually made from a selection of those. When it's hanging, it just looks absolutely beautiful. So that's how that bit works. I'll come to my other beads in a moment. So we'll get started. I tend to hold it sort of around the centre perhaps, so you're not putting any pressure on all of the different arms. It's only lightly soldered, so if you were to lean on it or wiggle it too much, you're going to end up snapping it. So do take care of that. The most frustrating thing when that happens on the last one that you're doing. I've put my tiny little crystal in the middle. I always put just a clear one there, unless you've particularly got some coloured ones in your stash. We do a nice acrylic one, so you get a lot for your money, and they're really good, just little fillers. Popped a seed bead on there, 6mm pearl, another seed bead. Now this is a 4x6 rondelle, beautiful colour in this rose gold kit. I mean, I don't see how well you can see that sparkle. They're faceted rondelles, so they're cut beautifully, and yeah, they look absolutely gorgeous. Another little seed bead as my spacer, and then I go on to my sparkle spacer cluster. I've got my 4mm followed by a 6. Now these will either be silver, or in our red and gold one, these replace for gold. I've got my Colourpop one, in this case it's a beautiful rose gold plated one. My 10mm back into my silver, or my gold as my replacement. An 8mm in the rose gold. 6mm back in the silver, and then 4mm. Now the fabulous thing about these is we exclusively create these sparkle spacers in an absolute array of different colours. So we do all 5 sizes, which go up to a 12mm, which we don't use in this cluster, but we do all 5 of those in a fabulous selection of colours. So you could get all pink, all purple, etc. These make the most beautiful adaptations to this project and really, really make it personalised. So that's that one there. I then need a further seed bead. Just try and do this carefully because I've switched hands. There we go. Then we go for a glass pearl, and then I've got a 6x8 rondelle, so a slightly bigger crystal. Now obviously at this stage you can see if I just tip it, they're all going to fall off. Take care, do one arm at a time, and then turn your little loop on the top. So just a final little bead, if I can fit it on, pop a little seed bead on the end. Sometimes it gets a little tight for space, and if you're finding these loops are hard to turn, then just leave yourself a little bit more room, can be good to practice. Now, when you turn this loop, it's firmer than a head pin. This is like a memory wire. If you put too much strain there, as I say, so if you fiddle about with it too much, that could snap. It's never happened live, but of course there's a first. Don't lean on your mat like that. Really keep the whole thing up out the way, and really try and just sort of gently support it, but not bending it too much. So I'm actually going to take my flat nose pliers because I find they're better for grip. So when I'm bending, I'm not bending here, I'm just holding there and I'm bending just there. So hopefully I've not put any strain on that centerpiece there. I then need to flip to my round nose pliers, take my round nose pliers to the end of that wire, and again turning, but careful not to lean. I've just got to be careful because I'm trying to get it in the camera as well. Normally I just do this on my lap, way out the way of the camera. So try and do this. I'm going to have to turn that way, I think, not to lean, because otherwise I'm going to end up leaning and doing what I'm telling you not to do. Okay, hold on, see if I get a bit of a focus on that for you. Okay, we're getting there, and then we just need to nip it closed. Oh, trying to do this and keep my hands out of the way, I always end up making a mess. What I would actually be doing is having this on my lap, making it nice and comfy. I'm probably going to have to do a bit of manipulating with my flat pliers. I am very worried too much more is going to upset that arm of it. But ultimately, if I carry on with that, I might have just use my flat nose just to manipulate it in. Okay, hands are going to have to go in the way, guys. I don't think I can do this without getting my fingers in the way. But you can see the principle of it. But I would normally hold it so you can't see what's going on, and I'd be turning it like that. So we're nearly there. What I've done, I've lost my bend. So those of you that I talked about getting that bend in, my bend has gone. There. Oh, that's got it. It's really not quite got it how I want it, but we're pretty much there. Okay, so let's go to one that did behave when I was doing it. Just there, could just do with being nip shut a little fraction more. But the other thing is, if you really don't want to turn your loops on these, then you can put a little stopper on. So you can put a little rubber stopper, a little earring back or something. You do need to turn one to hang your wire from, but if they're not playing, then you know, that is an option for you. So then we would repeat on the opposite arm. So I tend to balance it out. So I've done that one, so I would tend to go to this side and then repeat again. So I would pick up, starting with my little 3mm in the centre, going on to my seed, and then follow the pattern. That's if you want to make it all symmetrical, as I have on this one. So you would get all of those turned, and then you would have, if I'll just bring in this picture again, just to remind you of what we're hoping to do, that would be your beautiful rose gold sparkle spacer snowflake charm. So I hope you enjoyed that simple tutorial. I suggest you have a look at my head pin tutorials for a bit more practice on those. Didn't quite go how I was hoping on the live for turning the loops, but you can see on that one, if you just sort of do it more, not trying to reach under a camera and things, do it more how you turn your head pin loops, then you should be able to get that nicely closed. If not, get one closed and then glue some ear wires on, or just even glue a little bead. So your final bead, just pop a drop of E6000 on it, and leave that to dry as well. So that's an option for you. They are just absolutely gorgeous to work with. So if I show you one that's on the arms that's done, it just looks beautiful. And when they're finished, you get that sparkle from the crystal, the luster from the pearl, and the little sparkle spacer cluster, which looks beautiful. These are fab in necklaces as well. This exact design, in fact, works beautifully if you just carry it on and make a necklace as well. So it's a stunning technique to learn. Other than your loops, really, I would say that's the most challenging bit of these wires. Then you're good to go with them. So do enjoy making up your snowflakes. Riverside Beads have got all of the sizes. This is a 4.25. We've got smaller and two larger, really super large ones. So if you fancy making a real home decor piece, then you can grab some of those. So Riverside are back with some more tutorials. I think we have a couple of weeks of no tutorials now. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can obviously just pick up back tutorials if you wish as well.